District monument signage, those will be going on all the major entrances to the Fulton Entertainment District. Suzanne Burst-Rosa was with us a little bit ago. I introduced her. You can follow her at Burst-Rosa if you want to follow her on Twitter or Instagram. She'll be doing some talks coming up about the signage package, the branding package that she helped create for the district. Behind us we have Clem Renzi's The Visit, which is a very iconic piece to Fulton, and then more of Stan Bitter's clay pots behind us there. So just really happy to see how many people have been out here over the last week, taking pictures at night, taking pictures with their kids in front of this, to really tie them into their community and this special time in the history of our downtown. So I hear from people all the time who say, I was at the grand opening of the Fulton Mall 53 years ago. So we forget sometimes that in 53 years people will say, I was out here that first night that they reopened Fulton Street, and that really led to our downtown revitalization. And so tie your kids into this experience, drag a neighborhood kid or a niece or grandchild or whatever, and help give them this gift of making them a part of this special time in their community. The Housing Authority is right behind us over here. They also have this parking lot as part of that $70 million cap and trade funds. They're proposing a 15-story building on half of this lot that will have ground floor retail on Fulton and on Tuolumne Streets, and then 14 floors of housing up above it. So again, it's kind of exciting to see our skyline changing as we begin to rebuild the economy down here. And then I would say it's kind of interesting how, with the pedestrian mall in place, about how that kind of stopped revitalization from moving in. A lot of revitalization has occurred in the Mural District with a lot of the new loft housing and businesses. If you're out north of the Fulton District on Art Hop Night, for example, you'll see thousands of people out here. And then you would walk onto Fulton and you wouldn't see that much activity, which is strange because usually artists are the ones leading the way into areas where that they've been neglected formerly. Just sign him up. So now with life being able to flow back through, we'll want to see that this part of our downtown district revitalizing too, and they become mutually supportive. So generally you start with your downtown core and then it spills outward. We've kind of worked around it, and now we want that energy to flow back into the central core piece and then support all of the districts around us. Mural District, South Van Ness, South Stadium, Chinatown, Southwest Fresno, Lowell neighborhood. They all get better as this one area becomes this central destination place.
Is this going to be public parking here too?
This is still CVS parking here. This is still kind of a leftover mess. We have had for a few years back and forth plans to get CVS and a developer to move out to the corner to kind of clean up this goofy street that was put in when the mall went in. But we're not there yet. We'd love to get rid of these surface parking lots. There's a plan for this parking lot behind us to be a multi-story garage to accommodate the parking rather than having these dead zones that we have on each side of us currently. We have the new Tuolumne Bridge, part of high-speed rail, that was completed a couple of months ago. High-speed rail will be another, both a challenge, short-term, and a long-term opportunity. Starting at the end of this month, Tulare Street and Ventura Street are going to be closed between H and G. So we'll be asking for your support to, especially on the Chinatown side, support those merchants during that construction. Part of the $70 million, we're asking for funds to reopen Broadway Street through to Mariposa. Right now you get to Broadway and it stops at the IRS building garage, and we want to see that go all the way through again. They should have never closed it. Just one more closed street, confusing things. Tuolumne Street, when they did put the bridge in, we got them to convert Tuolumne Street to two-way, which is going to make it a much more business-friendly, driver-friendly street than the annoying one-way streets that confused everyone. They always seem to go the direction you want to go the other way, when you want to go the other direction. And then, so Broadway would go through, and then eventually Merced would go through between this IRS building and the Hotel Fresno and connect back up to H Street. So putting that grid back in place so that you can find your way around and traffic can flow more easily. You had a question.
I did, but I don't know. It might be a silly question, and it doesn't really have to do with the Fulton. But maybe I should know this, but whatever happened to the Fresno Metropolitan Museum, and what's going on with that? And that's too bad that that's gone. Sorry.
Yeah, no, the Fresno Met Museum, I'd say, is a different story than our community imagines it is. It was not through lack of support from our community that museum failed. It failed because we had a director that thought she knew better and was bringing religion to the heathens, and came up with this gigantic plan which demolished the existing offices for the museum, and then they were going to make palatial offices on the 4th floor. And after they demoed it, they moved the offices to the Fulton Street side and dislocated some of our long-standing arts groups, Fig Tree Gallery and what's the other one? Fig Tree and Gallery 25, thank you. Those were both there, and they moved their temporary offices there, dislocating two arts collectives that have been around since the 1950s. And then the cost overruns were there. And then really, I think at the city council level, they were going to default on their loan, and they asked the city to co-sign on the loan, saying there's no way that we'll default on it, but we need a co-signer. And then they defaulted on it, and then the city got stuck with the building. So I think about that city council, they either could have voted to not support it and the museum would have gone under and it would have been their fault, or to support it and then the museum went under and then they were made to look bad. So they really had a no-win decision at that point. But it was never from lack of support of our community. It was by having an executive director that ran roughshod over the museum she was supposed to be taking care of. So it's not our community's fault, and I think we blame ourselves for that. In the meantime, we have the Community Media Access channel that has moved in there. It is a wonderful resource. So if you are an AT&T or Comcast cable subscriber, you pay a little fee every month, and that goes to support our community media access stations. And if you have anyone in your family that wants to learn about video, you can do your own show, you can do your own videos, you can, they have incredible equipment. They even have a truck that can go do off-site shoots. And for a burgeoning arts community that includes video and film, it's a wonderful resource. I think it's like $25 a year for students and like $50 or $75 for adults. So it's a really very affordable way. They have a lot of great classes, and you can use their, once you go through the classes and you're a member, you can use their equipment to do your own show. There are shows on, I don't know, macrame, and there are shows on mixed martial art. They do all the city council and county board meetings. They'll be filming the grand opening event that night. So it's a wonderful resource. Everyone should check that out. They're open on Art Hop nights if you want to go through and get a tour. So it was a great question. Yes,
Do you plan to put information on the art plaques for the artists?
Yes, there isn't a plan for the plaques yet. I think that's a good opportunity. I don't know whether Downtown Partnership or the Arts Council or both will do that, but we'll need to raise additional funding to do the plaques to really explain the art. The old plaques are going in the ground, but they only give you the name and the artist and the year. So that's something that it would be on our to-do list, but also an app that we developed a couple years ago, trying to get that so that you can go on your own guided tour. And Miranda is working with the app developer so that her kids' art tour will also be on the app. Yes. Yes, Mom. My mother, ladies and gentlemen, still shows up to.
And that's my
listen to
grandson,
baloney.
Peeve.
Right.
Would it be possible to get a group like the Master Gardeners to come through and identify the big trees and bushes and things that people might want for their own home?
Yeah, that's a great idea. No one has mentioned that yet. I know. You're full of them, as we say. Or you say that about me. Something like that. Thank you. That's a good idea. No one said that before. She said that we should have something by the trees to identify what species they are. That'd be very good. And we could add that to the app as well. See, genetically inherited revitalization strategies. And there's my dad back there in the straw hat. See? Supportive parents all the way through. Any other questions, or are you all hungry and thirsty to try take 3? One more question, yes?
Do they plan to get horse carriage rides around the...
Horse carriage rides, no one has done it yet, but that would be a great feature, at least during the holidays to start, but we haven't gotten there yet. But
How about the ski, what do you call it? Pedicabs?
pedicabs and trolleys and all that, yeah. We really honestly should have been planning some of this stuff further out. Right now we're kind of just focused on the grand opening, but those will be the kinds of things that will be good to add in over the next year or two, so that we're always having something new happening and new ways to move people around. I know we've talked about trolleys and other things to get people from the parking structures downtown, but we haven't made any firm plans on that yet, but all good ideas.
Do they really have veggie burgers at Take 3?
Yes, they do have. I think it's called the Garden Burger. I'm not sure it's.
It's not on the menu.
It's. They have it.
Okay.
He knows that's what I'm gonna have. So hopefully they have it.
Greg,
Yes.
now that there's a two-way bridge here, what's going to happen with the other one?
So the Stanislaus Bridge, once this other construction work is done, will come down, and it'll just be the Tuolumne Bridge. There were 2 bridges, one in each direction, and now that it's a 2-lane bridge, we'll just have 1 bridge. Yes, ma'am.
How about all the little, what do you call them? They had all the little street parades and stuff for Christmas and all
Yes,
that
the
stuff.
Christmas
and
parade will be back on Fulton this year.
Okay.
So yeah, and we did it a couple of years before construction started, and it's amazing how much better it feels with all this density of buildings kind of holding that energy in than it did on Van Ness. It makes a world of difference. So it's going to feel much more festive and close and vital being on Fulton Street. So yeah, we will be moving those activities right into our main street. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, seeing none, go to Take 3 or Los Panchos or China Express and support our downtown businesses while you're here. We greatly appreciate it, and I know if you see them, thank them for investing in our downtown, because they've been through a lot during construction. And any boosts that we can give them now that things are opening back up will give them the energy to keep going. So thank you very much, everyone.